calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
It's week 2 of the high school football season, and tonight on a hot and steamy Friday night, it'll be the Raiders of Shenandoah, winners of a game last week to open up their season. They're 1-0 on the year, and they'll take on the Eagles of Heritage Christian, also coming in at 1-0 on the year. Tonight's game being brought to you in part by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Aspen Creek Grill, why go anywhere else for delicious food? Burtner Electric, providing quality electrical services in central Indiana. Boilermaker 374, we're second to none in quality and performance. Clean Slate, inspired innovation that moves business forward. And by Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation and everything in between. Great to have you with us. It is a warm one here tonight, but I'll tell you what, I know we're about an hour and a half past the actual start time of tonight's kickoff, originally set for 7, but now we're kicking off at around 8:30. Troy Dergowski, Jared Thomas joining us here tonight. I don't know about you, but you told me a little bit ago off the air, you're kind of used to playing in this kind of weather, but it certainly isn't easy.
It's never something that you get used to. It's just something that you have to get used to.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the game tonight, but also to see how they react to the heat and the delay. Maybe it'll be a benefit.
Well, we're going to scout both these teams here in just a couple of moments. Both teams got wins last week, but I guess the real concern tonight is about safety for sure. That's why the kickoff has been moved back. Playing in this, you really got to stay hydrated and just try to stay as cool as you possibly can.
And the hydration part of this started well earlier in the week. As you check the temperatures and you check the forecast for the week, you could clearly saw it was going to be sticky, it was going to be hot. So hopefully both of these teams did their due diligence when it came to their preparation for tonight's game. And, you know, tonight is just to showcase everything you did during the week. Your preparation, obviously the hydration. So it'll be interesting to see who can outlast the other.
Well, we have two teams here that are kind of contrasting styles. You have a Shenandoah team, and I know Jared's going to talk about that in a couple of moments. They love to run the football. Heritage Christian is a team that loves to throw the football, so we got two different styles for sure.
And when I look at Shenandoah, I take a step back and look back to last year. They have 4 seniors that led the helm of their offense, with Brookbank, with Lewis, with Ayers, with Louder. I mean, there was over 80% of their offense came from those 4 seniors. And when I look at the Shenandoah team this year, it's the question begs to be answered. What are they going to do offensively? Well, it starts with Evan Fries, and he has to run the ball really well, 176 yards last week, and you'd have to believe that he is going to be the focal point, not just offensively for Shenandoah, but defensively for Heritage Christian. And then when I look at the quarterback position, can Ethan Hoyt-Loy be a quarterback in playmaking ability like Carson Brookbank was last year? Now, what we do know about this offense, there's not a lot of passing.
Yeah.
And they found a lot of success just through the years, running the wing T, but even just this season. And so Ethan, if he can be the quarterback that they need him to be, take care of the ball, when he has to pass it, get it to the right people and run and be effective, I think they'll be just okay.
Well, they won last week, and that's always big to get your season off to a good start, and they were able to run the football, as you said.
And like I said, it starts with Evan Fries. I mean, he gets a heavy dosage each and every week. But the critical part to this offense for Shenandoah is the wing T scheme.
Yeah.
It just puts so many defenses in limbo. You don't know where the ball is going to go. You don't know who has it. A lot of misdirections, linemen pulling, kicking out, pulling up and through. So it forces stress on the opposing defenses to put their eyes in the right place, but also create some running lanes just by scheme. And I look forward to see how that kind of comes to fruition on tonight.
Well, as we said a little bit ago, this Heritage Christian team, they'll throw the football, so that's a little bit different, but they've had to replace some guys from last year as well.
And Heritage Christian, it all starts with a little bit different style of offense. You look at Coach Ray and what he's been able to do at the helm for Heritage Christian as the head coach, but also he's a quarterback too.
Yeah.
And he was a really good quarterback for Franklin College down on the south side, and you just have to believe that his nuance when it comes to the game from the quarterback position and being able to get that to everyone else on the team, I think it'll be well for Heritage Christian on tonight.
All right, we'll talk more about these two teams coming up in a couple of moments, plus a lot of big games already underway. We'll talk about that as well, and an opportunity to talk about the polls that came out after week number 1. It's all coming up right here on Indiana SRN.
To you. To you. Standing with us. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our neighbors in
need. Back once again here at Heritage Christian. We're moments away from the kickoff here tonight, and two teams undefeated at 1-0. But, Jared, there are some big games going on tonight. I'd mentioned I was listening to that Brownsburg Cathedral game on the way in, where Cathedral had a 57-yard pass play. It got stalled at the 20-yard line, missed a field goal, and then Brownsburg comes back with an 80-yard touchdown pass. You've been a part of that game before, so that's a big one tonight.
It would remiss me not to say how lofty the expectations are at Cathedral.
Yeah.
Just from a historical standpoint. So for that Cathedral team, they've seen a lot of success, but they've also not executed like they should at certain points throughout the last few years. So as an alum, as other people out there watching, I know that they're looking at this Cathedral team, not just for this game against Brownsburg, but as this season progresses, can they get the job done? Because at Cathedral, it's about winning state championships.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be a big task for this Cathedral team. Great quarterback and Danny O'Neill that's leading that team from the quarterback position. So great game against Brownsburg. I know they're wanting to get some get back at Cathedral, but that's just one of the many games that are going on tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You have Carmel and Christian Brothers out of Missouri, Homestead number 12 and number 15 Noblesville going on tonight. Center Grove up against Oakland, Tennessee. You have, in fact, the Oakland, Tennessee team's number 31 in the country. Westfield and Lawrence Central. We have a Lawrence Central matchup against Warren Central later on this season. In fact, that's, I think, just a couple of weeks away. And speaking of Warren Central, they're at Fort Wayne Carroll tonight, and Fort Wayne Carroll ended up losing their game last week. So that's a pretty good week 2 schedule.
It is a good time to be watching and covering football.
Yeah.
It is that time of the year. So very excited about all the games going on, especially right here on the network and elsewhere in the city of Indianapolis.
We will, again, talk about some of the other games that are coming up in a few moments because there's a lot of good games in 5A, 4A as well. So it's really a fun night of football. And I'm just glad we're getting them in. Again, with the way the weather's been this week and the heat and everything we've dealt with, getting them in was kind of an iffy thing. Unless we might move them to Saturday, and I don't think that was going to be possible either. So we'll get to some of those. We still have the polls, brand new polls that came out this week. Not a whole lot of big surprises there. In fact, in 6A, Ben Davis did take over the number 1 spot, followed by Cathedral, Center Grove, who lost their opener last week, and then Hamilton Southeastern. But it appears, at least right now, everything going according to plan with those top 5 teams, with Ben Davis now number 1.
There's a lot of good football being played in the state of Indiana. A lot of great coaching as well to complement the talent that they do have. So you would just have to imagine as we go throughout the season, as we get closer to the playoffs, man, it's going to be a rat race down to the end.
Yeah, I got to ask you, though, doesn't it kind of appear, at least right now, let's think about 6A, where it's about as evenly balanced as you've maybe seen in a long time?
It is. But I think that's just a credit to the talent that continues to get developed in all these different spots of Indianapolis, which showcases some great football. So very excited to see what goes on this season.
All right, very true. We'll come back. Kickoff is next right here on IndianaSRN.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson, and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football, powered by IndianaSRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at IndianaSRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the IndianaSRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown, safety, first down, holding or illegal use of hands, encroachment, or offsides commonly known, false start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick, scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
Back once again here at Heritage Christian. Let's talk about keys to this one. We've analyzed it again from the top. You have a team that can throw the football. You have a team that likes to run the football. As you break this one down, what do you expect in this one tonight?
When I look at Heritage Christian, something that comes to mind is what Coach Ray said to come into the season. They have to play to their standard. And Heritage Christian's standard is not just to win against Shenandoah tonight. It's to win the sectional. Yeah. It's to go on and potentially compete for a state championship. So I look for them on both sides of the ball to play with that intensity, to play with that effort, which is to the standard. On the other side of the ball with Shenandoah, I really just look for how they are going to compete defensively and offensively. If they can stop the passing attack of Heritage Christian and also run the ball effectively, throw out a couple daggers and misdirections in the pass game against this Heritage Christian defense, I think I like the way that they do things, and it should be a great game. But on both sides of the ball, they both have things that they need to do to execute and win this game tonight. And we're moments away from seeing that.
We are, and it's going to be fun to see how this whole thing plans out here, because I'll tell you what, you think you're in week 2, and the next thing you know, you're in week 7, and then all of a sudden it's week 9, because the football season goes by pretty fast, and you've got to kind of establish a lot of things very early, don't you?
Playing a lot of football in my career, my coaches always tell us the biggest improvement for any football team is between week 1 and week 2.
Right.
The reason that is because week 1, it's the hardest game of the year. You don't know what the other team is going to do. You're going off of scouting reports or film that you can't really see.
Yeah.
And then you get out there and it's like, whoa, this is completely different than what I expected. But in week 2, you're a little bit more settled in. You've been able to watch the film of the opposing team for at least one game, and that's kind of all you need early in the season. So to see how these teams fare in week 2, I'm excited.
You know, I'm always curious, too, how some of the players react in week 1 that don't have that varsity experience, and now you finally get that game underneath your belt. But now it's week number 2. The expectations come up a little bit, don't they?
Week 1, I think you get hit in the face. You're like, whoa, that happened fast. Week 2, you kind of expect it. You look for it. But more importantly, you just go out and you have fun. I mean, This is high school football in the state of Indiana that is very competitive when it comes to sports, especially in football. So just super excited for all of these kids here on tonight and all over the state that are playing this beautiful game.
By the way, Shenandoah will be in their traveling white uniforms. They're going to get the football first, and they'll attack from right to left. And you see the home team, the Heritage Christian Eagles, in their all-dark uniforms here tonight, which I'm sure they're a little bit warm because we're still at about 87, 88 degrees, and the heat index is probably still in the 90s. So wearing black on a night like tonight, huh?
I think it was to look cool.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We are underway. Shenandoah will get the football first, and that kick will go into the end zone for a touchback. And as we said, we're going to probably see a lot of Evan Fries tonight, an all-MEC player last year. You know, you think about it, he almost gained 600 yards last year. He almost went for 200 last week alone. So it kind of gives you an idea of what a key, and you talked about him earlier.
Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It just makes the game a lot easier. But actually, it makes the game a lot easier for this Shenandoah offense that wants to run the ball. So he's definitely the focal point, and it's only a matter of time before we see if he can get to that 200 mark again.
He will be the lone setback. Well, they play that wing T offense. I say lone setback. When you play a wing T, you're going to see, like you talked about earlier, a lot of misdirection. Different guys are going to get a hold of the football, so let's see how this all turns out. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and Freeze will get the call over the right side. He'll get about 5 yards, and our first play is underway.
Great play call to start off the game. Just a little lead run play over to the B gap, or a 3-hole play, as some would say, just to kind of get the juices flowing. Everyone's excited. First play of the game here at Heritage Christian. Let's calm the nerves. Let's ease it a little bit. Let's kind of ease into this game plan and get the big guys up front excited about the workload they have on tonight.
Garrett Adkins, Levi Jackson, Levi Lewis, Gage Zachary, and Landon Barr in that offensive line. Handoff to the up back, and that'll be a first down and more out to around the 35-yard line. Another nice run, and they'll just keep it on the ground early.
Great game by Evan Fries. You see on the play before a lead handoff when he was the lead blocker. The second play, he gets the fullback dive, gets it for a first down.
So
great
carries.
Execution there by Shenandoah.
Already 2 carries for Fries here early. My sheet only goes to 23, so I might have to move it down a line or 2. We had a game last week. The running back went for over 300 yards, carried it 34 times. There's your misdirection and a gain to the 40. The ball came loose, but I think they're going to say it came out on contact, and Fries another 5-yard carry.
High and tight there. Keep the ball high and tight. You don't want that seepage of the ball to get and hurt you later in the game. But Shenandoah executing early here on this drive.
Up front, it'll be Jones, Mustacallum, along with Hout, as the Heritage Christian Eagles defense will run a 3-5 with Buckland, Jones, Marsh, Heiler, and Arterburn as your 5 linebackers. The DBs will be Bryant, Nelson, and Dearman, and they may not be very busy tonight other than making tackles.
Dearman with an interception last week as a freshman. He's given them some great clock on the defensive side of the ball. Whoa, high snap, just get on it.
Boy, Loy all the way back to the 22-yard line on the bad snap. So now you're talking about 3rd down and long here.
In a situation that isn't really conducive for the wing T offense. An offense that wants to run the ball first and maybe then pass it, but actually probably run, and probably run some more. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do here on this 3rd and long.
Talking about a 17-yard loss as the football is at the 23-yard line, and they'll continue to run it over the right side, 30. And then a hard hit, but still to the 36. Great effort there. Will not be the first down. As you can see, they got to get to the 45-yard line. Big gain of 12.
Both of these teams losing their kickers, whether it be Antoine for Heritage Christian last year being the punter, or even some graduating seniors for both teams. But as I look to this Shenandoah team, I look at Landon Reddick, who does it all as a receiver, running back, and he's even their kicker. So look forward and look at that kicking game for both teams on tonight. Could be the key.
We had that drive going pretty well other than that bad snap, so Shenandoah will have to punt the football away at 4th down and 9. A lot of movement, but most of that is decoy, low snap. And the punt is on the way, lands at the 30. There will be a return to the outside 35, 40, and then brought down near the 41-yard line on the return.
Nice preview of Von Johnson there. One of the 3 running backs that heads this rushing attack for Heritage Christian. Great punt return there to get his team in good position on their first offensive drive.
Yeah, great field position at the 41. And, of course, Eli Nix will be the starting quarterback tonight. You mentioned Johnson last week, averaged 9.8 yards per carry. Pimental is the main running back coming in, but they've got a lot of new faces in that running attack. So early on, a lot of guys still auditioning for time.
I mean, last week when you have 28 carries across the 3 of them, 282 yards and 3 touchdowns, it made Nix's job a lot easier last week.
Man in motion, he'll get the pitch out to the 45 near the 47-yard line. So that'll be a gain of 5.
A lot different offensive feel for Heritage Christian versus Shenandoah. A lot more spread stuff, jet sweeps, a little zone read here in the offense for Heritage Christian, which is a little bit nuanced, as I mentioned in pregame, with Coach Ray being a quarterback himself. And when you anytime you have a quarterback as a head coach, you just have to believe they want to score a lot of points.
Yeah, no doubt. And Heritage has been able to put some points on the board. It'll be 2nd down at about 5. And now they're going to halfback pass here. That one is in the air, but that's like a duck, and it's going to be intercepted at the 28-yard line. Not a good throw by Isaac Jones, and that's going to be an interception.
Being the key for this defensive side of the ball for Shenandoah, creating turnovers. Just last week against the Fremont Eagles, they were able to cause 4 interceptions. One of them was a touchdown by their defensive lineman, Landon Barr. So this team is off to a great start, got some rhythm offensively to start this game, just got a turnover. Now the key is, can they turn this turnover into points?
He threw that pass like me. I'm pretty sure they might take that play out of the playbook now. So Shenandoah will get the football for the 2nd time. There's movement everywhere on this one. Take your pick, right? I think everybody was moving on that. The only thing I really like about Shenandoah's uniforms is that nice Michigan, what do you call those?
I guess that comes from a true Michigan fan.
Yeah. Problem is, I don't think they have it on all sides of their helmets. We got to fix that. Football will be put back at the 23-yard line. That penalty against Shenandoah. So they've had a couple of early mistakes. Carry up the middle. That's going to get to maybe the 26-yard line. And that'll be Fries once again. He's, by the way, carried the football every time, other than, of course, that loss by Loy, and a player down here for Heritage Christian. Gain of 4 by Fries, and we can't tell who that player is, but Heritage Christian will need to get a timeout on this one, and we'll take a timeout as well. Still no score here in the first period.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners, because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid.
So the injured player is off now for Heritage Christian. It'll be second down and about 12. Handoff up the middle. Nope, it's going to go around the right side, and Fries once again out to about the 35-yard line. Well, they're going to say Tomlinson on the carry, not Fries for the first time. So it'll be third down at about 5. Football just shy of the 35.
With a lot of that offense for Shenandoah leaving via senior graduation, Hagan Tomlinson last year, 22 carries, 134 yards. So that's just a nice changeup for their offense to hand it off to someone else, give the defense a different look. But more importantly, as we go into this third down, third and manageable, can the Shenandoah team control the clock? With a team that is explosive like Heritage Christian, clock management is important to stay ahead of the chains as they stay ahead in these drives.
Well, they'll run the football and get the first down out to the 40. See if that was Fries again on the carry, and it was. So that'll be a gain of 6.
The thing that puts a wing T offense at an advantage against defenses is, as a defense, if you get too far up the field, that's the run lane and all the surface level that they needed on a kick-out block, or even not to block you at all, and you're the read and they give it to the dive instead of giving it to the option across on the jet sweep. So this Heritage Christian team can't jet up the field too far, because that is what opens up run lanes even more, which is what you're seeing early in this game.
Well, it looks like about every body's all closed in, and that's going to be a loss of yardage. Isaac Jones is there to make the stop. That'll be loss of about 3, maybe 4.
It looks like he heard me. He said,
yeah.
I know you said no penetration, but if I penetrate and make the play, that's better than letting someone go. So great play there by Isaac Jones, who really is a focal point of this defense. I think the great part about high school football in smaller schools like we're seeing tonight, a lot of guys have to go both ways. You don't have the luxury of just one side of the ball and focusing on one game plan. You have 2 different game plans, which I think is impressive, to not just focus on what you do against their offense, but also against their defense too. Very impressive there by Isaac.
No doubt about that. This offensive line, by the way, pretty big, 240, 235, 225, 225, and a little swing pass. There's a flag down. That's going to be the reception by Hellman, his first reception, but a flag came in immediately. That's going to go against Shenandoah. That's going to be their second penalty here in the opening quarter.
When I look at that play right there by the Heritage Christian defense, yes, that was Nick Dearman, the freshman DB that made the play, but this senior group of defensive backs left a year ago. They had a group that was full of seniors, CJ Opper being one of them, that goes on to Mount St. Joseph University. And so when you look in the backfield on this Heritage Christian defense, they had an impact last year with the senior group that they had. Can this new group that's in right there with Nick Dearman, the freshman, be an impact and make plays at the cornerback position? And he definitely just did that. Great play right there. Coming up, chopping his feet on contact, going through the contact, and a little celebration, too, to let everybody know.
3rd and 13, the penalty declines, so no gain on the first pass play by the Raiders. This time an end around the right side, and, boy, somebody got a hold of that jersey, pulled him back once he got to the 44-yard line. That's going to be number 16 on the carry, Tomlinson. But now another 4th down.
As we go throughout this game, pay attention to Heritage Christian's defense and their spacing. On that last play and even some few plays before, they're very tight to the line of scrimmage, maybe wanting to get on these blockers a lot sooner before they get ahead of steam. But if Shenandoah can get outside like they've done a few times, I think it'll fare well for them as this game goes on.
They had a low snap the last time on their punt attempt. But again, the turnover costing Heritage Christian. This will be a short kick and received inside the 25-yard line. Breaking tackles and almost breaking that one is Johnson again. And for the second time, excellent field position.
I have to give credit to the big fella, number 54, Gage Zachary, for Shenandoah. Anytime you see a big fella moving that fast, if he can just hold on, it'll be a big collision. Great play by Zachary there.
You being an offensive lineman, we want to make sure we give a lot of love to the OLs, right?
Trust and believe.
Yes.
If I only have one job on this network, it is to highlight some offensive linemen and defensive linemen for the guys that go both ways, but got to show love to the trenches.
All right, so Heritage, their second possession. And they're going to run the football near side 45, cut back to about the 50 into Shenandoah territory. Another nice run, this time Pimentel on the carry, coming off a 145-yard game last week.
Great play there by Evan Fries. Now, we hear him on the offensive side of the ball, but a year ago, 66 tackles, 1 interception, 2 fumble recoveries. Once again, these teams have to play both sides of the ball. And so you just love to see when guys come up and make plays and sacrificing, their bodies for this team on both sides of the ball. Great play there by Fries.
Right, split wide to the left. Nix will take the snap, the handoff, and unable to get away from the second defender. And tell you what, number 53 in there very quickly. That is Jacob Brown.
Great play there by Jacob. I think this Shenandoah team is doing a great job. Even the play before where Pimentel broke a tackle and got a few yards, they're getting in the backfield. And as long as they can get in the backfield, wrap up and finish the play, they definitely fare well as this game goes on because they keep themselves in the game. A week ago against Vermont, they didn't score a point until the fourth quarter, but just because of their talent and running the ball, putting up 28 points in the fourth quarter, you have to imagine that they believe they can come into this Heritage Christian Stadium and do the same and give themselves a chance to win later in the game.
Well, not many teams score 28 in the fourth quarter, I'll tell you that. Looking to throw is Nix, and that's way off the mark. It was intended for number 34. That is Isaac Jones, and that will make it 4th down.
I have to take a moment and give a shout out to Coach Stillwell. In his first season, he's coming into a team here in Shenandoah that had 13 consecutive winning seasons. In his first season, he goes 4-5. Then in the next year, actually the first season, the first game of the season gets canceled, and then he plays it. The next 2 games, they go 1-2, find some success last year. So this team is primed for some success, as you can see in their effort early in this game.
Well, for 4th down and 5, the Eagles at least showing that they're going to go for it, but then they're going to call the timeout right here. We'll take a timeout as well. 2:51 to go in the first. Still no score.
Timeout Heritage.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
So Ham will come in to punt the football at their own 47-yard line. First punt of the night for Heritage Christian, and that is a ball that will roll back to the 20-yard line, so it took a Shenandoah bounce. Want to remind you, tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Thanks to our officials for today's game for their hard work and dedication. Without them, we do not play. Please, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sportsmanship is everyone's job.
An omen that I still live by today.
Yeah, thank you. Being a basketball official, they usually, they
don't always get it right.
No.
But it's all about the sportsmanship.
It is. It certainly is. All right, Shenandoah football again. Their defense does its job. They'll take over at the 21-yard line. This is their 3rd possession. We'll get you some updated scores. Tripped up. That's a flag down. Fries, I believe, on the carry. Gets about 3 on that one. But there's your flag again. This could be, if it's Shenandoah, their 3rd penalty already, and it's a holding.
Well, I know that flag wasn't on my man Gage Zachary because I saw on his pull flatline someone, got up to the 2nd level and was looking for more work. This is just a constant theme right now early in this game for this Shenandoah offense. They're doing a great job defensively, but offensively, if they can just eliminate some of the mistakes, sustain some drives, and get out of this slugfest of a game that we have so far, I like their chances to make some noise, not just in this first quarter, but this first half.
Well, they're going to have to mark off this penalty first. And this is, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, Jared, their deepest that they've had the football at the 11-yard line.
Late start time for today, hour and a half, first time for everything.
Exactly. But they'll just keep it on the ground. Big hole over the right side across the 25 out to near the 27. There's Fries once again.
A consistent theme for this Shenandoah offense. They get back into 3rd and longs or even 2nd and longs, and they're able to get all of that yardage back. So you just imagine if you don't even have to go backwards to start and you just keep moving forward, you'll get some more positive plays and some more positive yardage. Nonetheless, great play there by Fries.
Don't you get a little more tired, though?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of like doing it over again? It's like a mulligan, isn't it? Wait, we were already here. 1st and 10 at the 27. Hand off, and just a short gain over the right side by Fries again. That'll put it at the 29, just a gain of 2.
A lot of runs to the right side of the offensive line. More of the pass plays have been to the left side. Noticing some tendencies with this Shenandoah offense. They're having success, so if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Got to get it in the end zone, though, at some point, don't you? By the way, Fries already 8 carries here in the opening quarter. And they're really taking their time getting back to the line of scrimmage as we come up on 1 minute in this scoreless opening quarter. Boy, a lot of people in the box right there defensively for Heritage, and only a gain of maybe a couple on that carry. That was number 14, which is Hellman.
I keep having to put my foot in my mouth. I speak on something that I notice in a trend in the game, and then they come and do the opposite. Maybe I'll keep doing it and see the opposite so we can enjoy some good football as we've already done so far in this game.
He'll only get credit on that carry to the 30 since it didn't quite get to the 31-yard line. Ethan Lloyd, by the way, the starting quarterback, 5'11", 175, and a senior, only threw for 28 yards last week. Quickly hurrying to the line of scrimmage, could be the final play of this opening quarter. To the outside, Fries across the 35. A bevy of tacklers there at the 38-yard line, but good enough for first down, gain of 8.
When I look at Loy at the quarterback position, I think back to Carson Brookbank last year and a lot of his yardage coming on the ground, so much so that his longest run of the year was 75 yards. And I think that'll be important for Loy as the quarterback at some point in time, showing the legs to be a benefit and a tool for this offense.
Well, both teams are headed to the sidelines. That's going to do it for the opening period. And so far, both offenses stymied. No score after 1.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there it's just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit of themselves into everything that they do over here, especially since it is a made from scratch concept. We want everybody to come, visit us, enjoy some great food with some great service. Bring your friends, bring your family, come have some great food, have a great time with us with some of the best comfort scratch food.
Couple of scores real quick, if we may. Our other games on the network. Covenant Christian leading Greenwood Christian Academy at halftime, 21-7. Also at halftime, Franklin leading Mount Vernon 17-15. Speedway and Cecina, they're tied at the half at 20 apiece. Brownsburg leading Cathedral at halftime, 21-17. But Shenandoah, after the first down, first play of the second quarter, carry out to about the 42. Hellman will get the carry, his third carry of the night.
Love seeing the big guy, Levi Jackson, out there lead blocking for his buddy Hellman. Great play there on first down to get the second quarter started.
Hellman now with 1 yard on 3 carries. He had a carry earlier of a -3, so He's carried it 3 times. Football at the 41-yard line. You know, the good news about doing play-by-play for Shenandoah, I really don't have to name the receiver very much, do I? Boy, how about that defensive play? All the way back to the 37-yard line, and that'll be a loss on the first carry of the night by number 41. That is Parsley.
Great play there by Parsley. Great pursuit by number 56, outside linebacker Colin Jones. Great player for this defense. Great player on the offensive side of the ball, too, playing a little bit of offensive tackle. Last year, 84 total tackles, 18 TFLs, and 6 sacks. I keep thinking back to last year because those trends from last year's players, you want to put that in the forefront so those watching can know these players are really good at their positions and have done some really good things for their teams.
Loy running for his life, and he's going to go down on another big defensive play for the Eagles. Woo!
I think I just brought that to fruition as I was talking about Colin Jones. There must be some good things that are coming our way. As you see here, Colin off the right side, great pursuit, getting the quarterback all the way down to the ground.
Wow, he was barely blocked. I know you love those offensive linemen. They got to block that guy. That'll be a -10. And so now Heritage will get the football back. And they should have pretty good field position, maybe their best of the day.
This should break up the monotony that we've seen so far in this game of a slugfest of just defense. Let's see some points being scored.
Boy, the return man, Johnson, kind of slipped right there. And so thanks to that nice roll, that's going to go all the way to the 21-yard line. So much for good field position.
That went out the window quickly.
Didn't it? By the way, tonight's game brought to you in part by Tam Sweet and Savory Cafe. Great food for breakfast, lunch, delicious baked goods. Check out their daily specials. They're open 8 to 2, Tuesday through Sunday, located at 6427 Oaklandon Road. Now, something you said a little bit ago, which is very true. Both offenses, they've just been kind of stagnant so far. What do they got to do to get this thing rolling a little bit?
I think on both sides of the ball, you just see offenses and players being a little bit timid, not wanting to go too much and make a mistake or not get out of the wheelhouse of what the responsibility is. But that's not to be misconstrued. Someone has to make a play to get some points on the board. So just look for somebody to step in the gap and, provide a spark for their team because both sides of the ball need it on both sides for both teams.
Well, Johnson may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. So it's going to be second down at about 10. Johnson, his first carry. We'll give the tackle there to Tomlinson.
But I don't want the spark of each offense that is needed to score some points to dilute the point about the great defense that we're seeing. Yeah. Guys getting in the backfield, wrapping up for huge losses, destructing blocks or getting in the way of guys from getting up to the second level. I mean, it's some quality defense being played here tonight.
Palanconda, one of the two receivers, split wide to the right, little swing pass. That's going to get maybe 2 yards. That is Andrew Sloan on the reception, and just like that, it's 3rd and long.
Huge shout-out to Andrew Sloan. Just earlier today, I was with my trainer, Justin Ochoa, with Pace. They're a great personal training, but also just fitness academy here in the Indianapolis area. He said, hey, man, when you get on the air, if Andrew makes a play, shout him out. So there's the shout out for you, Justin, and Eric Allen that own Pace that I've been going to for a few years. Obviously, Andrew Sloan is a participant in their program as well. I know he's going to do some great things tonight and for the rest of the season, so huge shout out to all the Pace people out there.
Unfortunately, he gets credit for just 1 yard on the pass play. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
That's always how it starts.
Nix to throw, near sideline, ball caught out of bounds at the 39. On the reception, that'll be Palanconda.
It's like the hockey assist.
Yeah.
You pass it to someone, they get it to the person that scores the goal right there for Palanconda on a great over route to get his feet in bounds, keep these chains moving, and get this offense some swagger.
Take another look at it right here. That's throwing against the body, too, by the way.
Going left, right-handed quarterback, great poise. I hear some quarterback coaches out there saying, keep that left shoulder closed. You don't want to open it up because that's when the ball begins to sail. Great job there by Eli Nix.
Hate to tell you this, but a penalty just nixed that play. Get it? You like that?
Well, that's a play that you still put on your huddle playlist and your highlight tape, and you just take away where it shows the yellow laundry hitting the field.
So instead of a 20-yard gain, you get a 10-yard penalty and you're back to the 14-yard line.
It's been the name of the game so far. A lot of penalties, a lot of great plays being negated with penalties. Who's going to be the first to eliminate the mistakes?
By the way, that's a 28-yard difference right there between the gain and the penalty. Nix will roll out. Here comes the pressure. Fires to the sideline. Still on his feet. Almost. Again, Andrew Sloan made a nice play right there.
Almost made the defender miss and took it for almost a first down if he was able to keep his footing. Nonetheless, great play there by Sloan. I think he's doing some good things tonight. Got to keep looking for him. It started with just 1 yard.
Yeah.
Now we've progressed to a little bit more.
Got out to the 24. That's a gain of 10. So Sloan, his second reception. He leads the Eagles so far with those 2 receptions. It almost kind of feels that they've had a couple of nice plays both ways, both teams, but I think they're running in mud a little bit tonight. Maybe the weather has something to do with it.
It's like you're pumping your arms as fast as you can, thinking you're sprinting, but no one has really got over on the plus side of the 50.
Well, Heritage will have to punt the football away once again, so the offense, and now we have whistles that'll stop play before the punt, and that's going to be a delay of game against Heritage. So that's going to back him up another 5 yards.
Got to shout out those zebra stripes. They're doing a great job tonight, keeping this game at bay. The unfortunate part that a lot of people misconstrue with officials, they're just trying to make it about them and throwing the flags. It's like, no, if I see a penalty, I have to call the penalty. That's just the way the game is played.
Exactly. I don't know of any official that wants to do it that way, believe me. Good roll here for the Eagles inside the 40 and takes an extra roll here down to about the 42-yard line. We'll have to call it 41, though, but Shenandoah has good field position right here.
The team that gets on the plus side of the 50, I think, will be the first team that scores. Now, how the trend has gone tonight, as soon as I say something, it's the opposite.
And the first half between Heritage Christian and Shenandoah. Man in motion, the handoff. It'll be Fries over the left side down to the 30-yard line, maybe closer to the 31, but always love the spot. They give him an extra yard to the 30.
When those defensive linemen or even defensive players penetrate up the field, that's when the arm tackles come into play. And as long as someone is running forward, no matter how strong you are, if you are behind someone that's going forward, the one that's going forward is always going to have the advantage. And I've seen that a lot so far tonight with a lot of players just running behind their pads, not to do anything special or spectacular or run someone over, but just to keep those things moving in the proper direction, in a forward linear direction. So they're doing a great job here on their running attack. Oh, man.
We got a fumble.
Too soon.
Oh. That was a heck of a hit, though, and a fumble recovery by Brady Hiller, and it's going to be Eagles football. First turnover there for Shenandoah.
Brady Hiller there with as I would imagine, a turnover chain here for Heritage Christian, but there's nothing more destructive at the mesh point between a quarterback and a running back than defensive line penetration. And we saw there, I believe that was 56 Colin Jones, once again, having an imprint on this game, breaking up that mesh point, causing a fumble. But maybe I'll just be quiet now for this Heritage Christian offensive drive and see what happens.
They won't care until they see the game later. So the turnover, and that, by the way, I think they got the football down to the 20. So that was their deepest penetration into Heritage Christian territory, and there's another flag down. Well, I tell you what, it has not been a pretty first half here between these two teams, especially offensively.
Game 1 to game 2, you see a lot of you would like to see a lot of improvement from your football club or any athletic club. But I think what you see here, still playing with a little bit of nerves. This game between these two teams dates back a little bit. I mean, these two teams have seen each other the last few years. You know the opponent just like you know your teammates when you're going through training camp and summer practice. So you have to believe that both of these teams are well prepared, what the other team's tendencies are. I mean, this is now both staffs 3 years in the running with the same staff. So great play by both squads here early in this game and going into the second quarter.
Handoff to Johnson, trying to find room around the right side, and actually stayed in bounds. They got some extra yardage there, just a little bit short of the first down.
He's given them a spark offensively and in the kicking game. Earlier in the first quarter, the couple punt returns that he had to jumpstart their offensive drives and being featured here coming out of the backfield. I like what he's done so far in this game.
So he got it to the 38-yard line. Good enough for a 9-yard gain. So it's going to be second down at about 6 here for the Eagles. Still under 5 minutes remaining. Here's the carry by Johnson around the left side. Breaks a tackle. Gets into Shenandoah territory.
I like the kick out, or the not even a kick out block. Isaac Jones there on the left side of the line just pins down that defender, gives Johnson the ability to run outside. We go back to the first quarter. Isaac Jones throws a lofter up in the air, gets picked off, but he's come back, had a great defensive play, made a key block right there. He's bounced back nicely from that first quarter mistake.
Good enough for 17 yards down to the 45-yard line. Johnson, his third carry, now has 26 yards on the ground. Nix again out of the shotgun. Handoff up the middle. Pimental there on the carry. Will get about 3 yards on that one.
Great play there by Garrett Atkins, shedding the block, making the play. Always love to see the big guys make some plays up front. You know, the game starts and ends with the trenches.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. If you can control the line of scrimmage, running the ball offensively, and that equates to great pass protection. But then on the other side, as we've seen so far in this game, if you can disrupt the line of scrimmage defensively and get into the backfield, I think your team will be just okay. And we've seen that from both squads tonight.
Second down. Handoff. Right side. Pimental goes down. How about that defensive play?
Jacob Brown, that's another great play from him. He's done a great job defensively so far, just shooting the gap, making the play, wrapping up on the tackle. Great play there by Brown.
How big are those linebackers when you play a 3-5 and those guys are that quick and make plays like that? That's huge.
It's important because you don't have as many defensive linemen, which means you have more linebackers on the field, as you just said. So that gives them, some of them, free reign to roam a little bit, shoot the gap when they see an opportunity, see ball, get ball, as you've heard so many times throughout the evolution of football. But, boy, you got to love great football when you see someone just come up, shoot the gap, make a great play there like Brown did.
Nix to throw, ball caught near side, 39, still in his feet, down to about the 30. On the reception, that's Bryant, his first reception of the ball game, and good enough for a first down. Take another look at it.
Nix just calm and cool and collected as he's rolling out to the left, as he's done now for the second or third time in this game. Putting it right between the eyes of his receiver, Erie Bryant. I see why he went 8 for 10 last week and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He makes it look easy.
22 yards on the pass play. We'll put it at the 29-yard line. Down to 3 minutes remaining on the carry left side. Once again, that'll be Johnson. How about that effort, breaking tackles, getting down to about the 21.
As this game wears on, we talk about pregame. Who's in better condition in this blistering heat that we saw late into tonight as this game got delayed by an hour and a half? And so as this game wears on, guys start to fall off of tackles, not wrapping up, not finishing. I think that's just the first glimpse into it, but let's pay attention to that as we move forward into the rest of this game.
I know you and I are tired, and we're not even out there. It's just getting here was an effort. So second down and 2. Got to get to the 19-yard line. Nix, the handoff right side. There is another great defensive play. Unfortunately, a flag is down. Number 53, Jacob Brown again.
He's got a knack for the ball. He's found himself around the piles more often than not tonight.
We have seen a lot of yellow flags so far here in the first half. It looks like that penalty, the way they're looking at it, it might go against Shenandoah. Personal foul face mask.
Big 73, Nate Turpin there, indicating the flag is on the defensive side of the ball. I always found that fun as an offensive lineman. You hear the refs talking even though you're technically not supposed to be near their officials' huddle. But you hear the call and point to the sideline like, hey, it's on them. You feel like you get more credit than you actually do when you're playing offensive line, when you're creating holes and protecting the quarterback. But, that's a conversation for another day.
It is, and we'll get it out of you eventually. Ball down to the 11 on that 10-yard penalty play. That's a big penalty right there on Shenandoah. So now Heritage, their deepest penetration so far tonight, trying to get on the board before halftime. First down and 10. This will be Johnson around the left side. He'll get about a yard. I love those linebackers.
They're just filling.
They are.
They see an opening, they shoot the gap, and they're making the play. And it can't be overstated enough. When you shoot the gap, it's only great if you make the play. And making the play is wrapping up, taking the ball carrier all the way down to the ground, or just holding him up until your buddies get there to join the party. And this Shenandoah defense has done that tonight.
This is big both ways, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, we're talking about two stagnant offenses, and now you have a chance to score before halftime. Second down and 9, 2 in the backfield. Nix will roll to his right, throws, and it's going to be caught inside the 5 and about to the 4-yard line on the reception. That'll be Palanconda.
A touchdown here on this drive would be huge because we look back to the opening kick of this game. Shenandoah received the opening kick, and Heritage Christian had to go to defense first, but going into the second half, that flips.
Yeah.
Heritage Christian receives the second half kickoff, so there definitely is going to be some confidence associated with being able to get a touchdown here as you go into halftime, knowing that, hey, we score some points and we can go down and do it again because we get the ball right back here in a few minutes.
Taking a look at that reception, football officially at the 4-yard line. You see the clock ticking away right there. Really spreading it out here for Nix. Handoff Johnson. Johnson, can he get to the edge? And he does.
Yes, he does. Touchdown.
How about that one? 4 yards out, and we finally get a score.
Johnson has shown his ability to get in the open field, make guys miss, or elude some tacklers. There, it just so happened to be for a touchdown. Much needed touchdown for this Heritage Christian team.
Boy, and you would have hate to have gotten that far down and not get some points.
Man, come up empty. That is not ideal in this part of the game, but really any team. Do a lot of hard work to get all the way down there. You come up short, but that's not the case here for that Heritage Christian team.
But one thing about it, too, you're not leaving Shenandoah a whole lot of time to do anything with it when they get it back. So, yep, that's going to be Nix on a bad snap. Nix rolling and throws, and he will not get the conversion. But you got the touchdown, 27 seconds remaining. HC leads it 6-0.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Burtner Electric Incorporated is fully licensed and bonded electrical contractor for your protection. Our electricians are available 24/7 for service calls and specialize in electrical service and storm damage repair. For more information, give us a call today.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Wheeler Mission Thrift Store. Bargain hunters, treasure seekers, we have a place for you. Visit our store at 8640 East 96th Street in Fishers, and thank you for helping us with our mission. Well, we've seen a lot of penalties. We've seen pretty good defense. The offense hasn't been very good for the most part. I know you're going to give me some good info here at halftime, but it hasn't been pretty in the first half.
But if I'm Coach Ray going into halftime, all that matters is we're winning 6-0.
Yeah.
And as long as you have one more point than your opponent, that's what we're here for.
All right. Shenandoah will have one last look at the football, and a fumble on the 5-yard line. Great special teams play there by Heritage, and it's going to be a long way to go here for Heritage. Here's that touchdown.
Getting out and outflanking the defense. Who can make it to the pylon first? There was Johnson. Got this Heritage Christian offense on the board with their first touchdown of the game for both teams.
As I mentioned, a long way to go for Heritage. It's actually a long way to go here for Shenandoah. Football be placed at the 16-yard line.
I'd be willing to bet we see a run play right here.
I think so. See, that's why we hired you, because we love the analysis of something like that.
Just state the obvious. Sometimes it's really, really simple.
It is. So it'll be 1st and 10. Again, football at the 16. Ethan Loy will hand it off, and still on his feet. Looks like that's number 14 on the carry. Take that back. It's actually 41. That's going to be.
Eagles call a timeout there after the gain of 4.
We can pick up 41 real quick, and it's going to be
Parsley,
a
I believe
Parsley,
that was.
Yep, it sure is. His second carry. We're going to keep it right here, and they place that football at the 21-yard line. It's a gain of 5.
Great strength there by Parsley. Gets hit in the backfield and drags the defenders for a 5-yard gain.
Well, what do you do here? You don't throw the football much when you talk about Shenandoah. That you just try to maybe hopefully get lucky and break a play here, or what do you want to do at 14 seconds?
First, you assess what are the strengths of my team. Passing the ball probably isn't a strength of this Shenandoah team, so albeit running the ball is the strength. Hey, let's just run the ball, run the clock down, get to halftime, and let's regroup so we can come back out for the second half.
And certainly don't make a really silly mistake right here, right?
No, do not do that. I think back to my XFL season this past year where we're playing the D.C. Defenders in Washington, D.C., and we're running the ball just to get to halftime after playing terribly in the first half, and, man, it almost turned out bad. So you don't want to do that.
So here is the handoff around the left side, and on the carry, the short gain is Reddick. Still 9 seconds remaining. Reddick had 6 carries for 47 yards last week.
So many guys that are featured in this Shenandoah offense. Tomlinson, Fries, Reddick, Parsley even got a carry. Loy has carried the ball a couple times. That has to be stressful for this Heritage Christian defense where you have so many keys that you have to read. Because on defense, let's be honest, you are given a set of keys that you have to read. And as soon as that key presents itself, you have to attack. So sometimes you're just out of position because you were reading your key. And your key took you away from the play. So credit to the Shenandoah offense just featuring so many people that causes stress for opposing defenses.
3rd down, handoff again. This carry up the middle will be good enough for 1st down. And once again, that's going to be Parsley on the carry. But another penalty flag as he got the gain to the 36-yard line.
I'd love to see both teams just regroup in the second half. Hey, we're both doing some really good things on both sides of the ball. If we could eliminate the mistakes, because all mistakes are just mental errors right now. But there are a lot of factors at play right now. Second game of the season, so there are some nerves being on the road for Shenandoah. Then you have the heat that's just beaming down on you as this night wanes on. So just settle in, get back to the game plan, execute, and see where it leaves you at the end of the game.
It's going to be a face mask penalty, but a timeout for the Raiders. Get them a chance to get some water right here, so it'll be a gain of 11. It's only 82 degrees. Wow, it really cooled off, didn't it?
Yeah, cooled off in air quotes, if you will.
Yeah. So 88 is the real feel right now, so they'll be kind of glad. Let me ask you, would you rather go in the locker room if it's air conditioned, get cooled off, but you got to come back out in the heat, or would you rather just stay out in the heat? A lot of teams don't go to the locker room if they're in a smaller venue.
I'd say get a splash of water or some ice down your back. If you can get into some air conditioning, just take a quick walk around in the room, get back out, because the last thing you want to do, which I guess it wouldn't be a problem in this heat, is getting cooled down and then having to heat back up. But with the temperature so high, I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter at all. Football will be all the way to the 49-yard line with that penalty, a face mask penalty against Heritage. Should be the final play right here. End around, and the fumble of the football, it's loose, and it's going to be picked up by Heritage. Will there be a return? There is, and unfortunately, if you're a Shenandoah fan, you did not hold on to the football, and it almost turned out to be what we thought might be a disaster right there.
But 54 for Shenandoah, Gage Zachary to the rescue again. I mean, he's listed as an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman, but at this point, they might as well just put him in as a playmaker. Does a great job there on the kick out. Unfortunately, ball gets on the ground. He gets scooped up. Don't know if he was down there, but he's in the right place at the right time. And I saw Tomlinson go down there on that run play. Saw him grab his knee. Hopefully it's nothing serious. This is the part that you just hate to see for anyone in sports and athletics, especially at the high school level, someone going down and guys taking a knee. Hope he's all right down there.
Yeah, that was his third carry, and again, the fumble. And again, you just hate to see him get hurt here late in this first half. Both teams want to get to that locker room as quickly as they can, and you see the Raiders are heading that way as their teammate remains on the field, and it looks like Heritage will head to the locker room as well. But as we said a little bit ago, first half, I guess I'm a little bit surprised we've only seen just 6 total points.
But I think that's just by game plan and by design. Hey, let's not get out here and do anything cute. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and show too much here early in the first parts of the season. Let's see if we can come into this game with an easy game plan and see if we can execute. Now, what I will say is both teams have found success running the ball on both sides of the ball. The key is, can you eliminate the mistakes, and can, for Shenandoah, get down on the plus side like they did in one drive, but take it to the next step and actually put some points on the board. We saw Heritage Christian do it, and so now we wait on the response from Shenandoah.
By the way, Tomlinson appears to be, not okay. He is limping, but he's up and being assisted to the locker room, so hopefully he'll be okay as the Raiders get ready for the second half. Now, we'll talk about keys to this second half, and both teams have some work to do. I mean, the penalty flags just started flying a lot once we got started, so that's something they really got to clean up too.
It could be some fatigue as the game goes on, and you get a little bit tired. This is the early part of the season. This is week 2. You don't really know how well conditioned you are as a team, as an individual, until you actually get out there and start playing games and getting live reps. And so for both, as we look back to the keys before we come into this game, playing to the standard for Heritage Christian and competing for Shenandoah. I think we've seen competition from Shenandoah, but I don't think we've seen Heritage Christian playing to their standard with the amount of penalties, not capitalizing on some of these drives that they started with good field position. So let's get back into the locker room, let's regroup, and let's see what we can do in the second half.
Halftime score, Heritage on top of this one, 6-0.
Conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
Come on!
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Back here at Heritage Christian, 6-0 at the half. We'll try to get you updated on some of the scores in the first half. Real quick, Shenandoah's numbers are going to be pretty easy to figure out. Fries led the way in the first half, 11 carries, 85 yards. Reddick 1 carry for 4. Hellman had 3 carries for 1 yard. Parsley with 3 carries, 14 yards. Tomlinson 3 carries, 23 yards and a fumble. And then Lloyd got sacked twice for a minus 27 yards. So you take the 27 away, the numbers aren't going to look very good. And Lloyd threw 1 ball, completed it for 0 yards to Hellman. So the numbers, again, just aren't very impressive in the first half.
And for the Shenandoah offense, as we knew, the focal point was going to be Fries, as you saw there with the amount of carries that he got. But there was some balance between some other guys as that half got going. But the other part that I look for in the Shenandoah offense, I know they don't necessarily want to dominate the game through the air, but just a couple passes to keep this Heritage Christian defense on its heels, throw a couple of change of directions, I think will be beneficial as they head into the second half.
Well, the other side isn't going to look much better either. Pimental had 5 carries, 13 yards. Johnson, 8 carries for 34. And Nix, 5 passes. He completed 4 of those, 4 of 5. And he ended up with 32, 33, 39 yards passing. So none of these are going to get you Player of the Week honors, are they?
But they found some balance at the end of that first half with a couple of run plays early in the downs, early in the drive, as they continue to go down the field. Hey, let's hand the ball. Let's get it out to the flat. Super quick passes, which are essentially run plays extended from the line of scrimmage just out on the perimeter. So look for them to continue that success as they go into the second half, like I said, receiving this second half kickoff.
By the way, Johnson scored the only touchdown of our game so far. That came with 27 seconds left. In the first half, it was a 4-yard score. The extra point was no good, and that's where we stand right now at 6-0. Real quick, Nix, as I said, he had 4 completions. Palanconda had 1. Sloan had 2 receptions. Bryant had the other reception. He had the longest one at 22 yards in the first half. So as you look now to the second half, and we got a couple of score updates for you. Covenant leading Greenwood Christian 28-7. And that's one of our games on the network. Memorial is leading North down in Evansville 7-0. Before we continue, we'll get to some more scores. Talk about the second half. We'll take a quick timeout. We're at halftime, 6-0 Heritage.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Hi, I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to IHSAAfoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 160,000 participants here in Indiana who take part in high school sports.
Get you a couple of score updates. By the way, Hamilton Southeastern did beat North Central tonight, 35-7. Brownsburg, in the last report we have, leading Cathedral 28-17 in the third. Perry Meridian by 10 over Southport, 20-10. They're also playing in the third. If it seems like some of these scores are late, again, these games got started a little bit late. Maryville leading Hobart 24-6. Columbia City beat Plymouth 42-14. Bremen winning their game over South Bend 42-7. Carmel is losing their game 48-28 in the fourth quarter. See a little cheer from our producer on that one. Again, they're playing that Christian Brothers out of Missouri, and they're ranked like 21st or 31st in the nation. North Decatur, Eastern Hancock tied at 14. Fishers leading Pike 33-0. You can jump in here if you see anything you like. I know you didn't like that Cathedral score yet, but
I feel like IndianaSRN should come up with the equivalent of the NFL Game Day Sunday ticket, where you just have the IndianaSRN ticket and you can just see all the high school games, whatever you need. I won't charge for the promo, but we're all the family here. But a huge shout out to our producer, Jerry, doing a great job for us tonight, and great job with the network.
By the way, he didn't reject it. He went, oh, okay, that might not be a bad idea. By the way, another couple of scores here real quick. Ritter losing to Lutheran 49-0 in the fourth quarter. New Pal beating Decatur Central 34-24 in the third. See if we have anybody else. Okay, well, we'll take a quick. And by the way, Franklin Central now leading Ron Colley 13-6 in the third. We'll come back. Second half action coming up in a moment. Heritage on top of this one, 6-0.
Never miss a big game by downloading the IHSAA TV app for free on any device. For your iPhone or Apple TV, check the App Store. On your Android or Android TV device, load up the Google Play Store. Have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick? We have the app for you. Check us out on Facebook Live, Twitter, or YouTube Live by searching for IHSAA TV. Or as always, click to IHSAATV.org for quick and easy access to your favorite IHSAA live and archived events.
You're good at making big announcements.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374. Learn how we can hire you. Contact us today at 219-845-1065. International Brotherhood of Boilermakers, iron shipbuilders, blacksmiths, and helpers. Couple of quick scores still in the third quarter. Warren Central in a low-scoring game, leading Fort Wayne Carroll 7-6. Noblesville is beating Homestead 42-0 in their contest. Ben Davis over Avon 28-7 in that one. Any other scores here of interest? By the way, Mooresville leading Danville at halftime 14-12. We'll come back, and the second half coming up in a moment. Heritage on top 6-0.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
It's a warm and muggy night. The good news is, by the way, Jared, next week things will cool off. By week 3, I think we'll have kind of a pleasant night for high school football. But, boy, give the players, the coaches, the fans, the cheerleaders, everybody, the officials, give them a lot of credit for going out on a night like tonight and bringing us high school football.
As I was looking at some of the commercials, and even as we're in the break and we're going over some of the scores as we get ready to go back on the air, I'm like, man, there's a lot that goes into the operation of a team, but really just of high school sports across so many different sports that are competitive, not just in Indiana, but nationwide. And you just have to tip your cap to all of the support staffs of these teams, of these schools around the country, in the state of Indiana. Obviously, all of the people here at SRN that just make everything happen because, yes, it is a team game, and as we're watching here with Shenandoah and Heritage Christian, but there's so many other people that don't get noticed, so many other things that go on behind closed doors that just make things like this happen and make them go efficiently and smoothly. So, man, I just felt a moment of gratitude and appreciate being here with you tonight, and just a great time to be just in the spotlight of high school football, and it's just so much, and this is just the beginning. It's a lot more to come in this game, but also as the season progresses.
You know, one thing about it is, too, a lot of people said, why don't you move it all to Saturday? Problem is the logistics, so you got to move everybody from Friday to a Saturday, and a lot of people are doing things on Saturday, have already made other plans. So,
and it's not just as easy as you said to just move the game from one day to the next. There are so many different factors that are at play, but then I think one of the utmost importance is the mentality that comes into playing a game on Friday night and then having to turn it off and play the next day. It happened to us at Cathedral. We played Chittard on one day, rain delay.
Mm-hmm.
It got fast forwarded to the next day to play the second half, and it just was a mental bog on us as a team to go play the second half of a game on the next day or succession day of Saturday. So it's just tough. But, you know, these teams got out here, got it done. They're being mentally tough. Johnson goes for the touchdown at the end of that first half. So you look for some more players on both sides of this of the ball for each team to make some plays as this game goes on. And we got an interesting finish here in the second half.
Well, let's talk about what do we got to do in the second half on both sides of the football to get that offense going. As we said a little bit ago, we kind of pointed out the numbers. They're not impressive. Let's start first off with a Shenandoah team able to run the football at times, but just unable to get in the end zone.
Coming into this game, I said they had to compete. We look at a year ago, the first part of the season when they played Heritage Christian, they lost 33-52. Now, that tells you a lot. There were a lot of points scored, but they lost by 19. So that tells you there was a disparity, not just in what happened on game day, but in score. But today they've competed. And so now I think they have to turn these drives into points. They have to get something on the board because that boosts morale and that gives a push for the team like, hey, we're in this game and we can go win this, which is, I think, the next step for the Shenandoah program under Coach Stillwell.
And then, of course, Heritage got the 6 late in the first half. They got to get that offense going. And really not even throwing the football in the first half very much.
Coach Ray says fly higher as the motto for this team. Character, toughness, and competitiveness. They have a lot of character on both sides of this ball with guys playing, you know, offense and defense. They have toughness. The competitiveness is here on today. But I think playing to that standard, there's an underlying impact that really encompasses playing to a standard. And that's mentally you're not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And they hurt themselves a lot in that first half, albeit a few penalties, but a few is a lot greater than 0. And so if they can eliminate and subtract those mistakes and get it to 0, I think they give themselves a better chance in the second half to score some more points and take care of business like that. I know they can.
Well, and Heritage will, by the way, get the football first here in the second half, and that's always big. I always think how you end a half, how you begin a half. You ended with scoring the 6, and now you get a chance to really kind of not put a dagger in Shenandoah, but really put a lot of pressure on them if you can score in this first drive.
As a player, even as a coach, the tendency is as soon as you find some success to let your foot off the gas. And so they have to dig deep and say, hey, we have an opportunity to go up 2 scores and really take control of this game. So mentally, I'd like to see a lot from this Heritage Christian team early as they receive the second half kickoff.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Eli Nix, we talked about him in the first half, 4 of 5 in the passing department, good enough for 37 yards. We'll see if he can pick it up because last week he threw for 119 yards and 4 touchdowns. So we'll see how he can kind of throw things together here in this one in the second half. As we said, we're a little bit late starting. Some of the games that you're going to see on your max preps or whatever you use to get the scores, you're probably going to be up pretty late to get those. And if you don't, we'll have them on our sports page tomorrow morning if you want to go to bed after the game tonight. You get to be my age, young man. Your bedtime is right now, so I'm working OT right now.
Yeah, well, I guess if it's okay with Jerry, I'll do both sides so you can get your rest.
Jared doesn't know this, but when it gets to the second half, I really stop talking a lot. So it's going to be up to you to go the rest of the way on this one. Well, again, congratulations to getting all these games in throughout not only – I know it's still really hot in the southern part of the state. It kind of cooled off in the northern part a little bit more, but that whole system is moving our way. And by tomorrow morning, maybe we can open up the windows and enjoy a little bit of a breeze.
And I know the game down in Evansville on the network, it's about 9:45 right now. They got started about 45 minutes ago, so I tip my cap to the crew down there. Best of luck, gentlemen.
Well, Chuck, the producer, gets paid a lot of money to go down there, so he's okay. And plus, he gets to stay in one of the finer hotels down there, too. So here we go, short kick, and we're going to see some pretty good field position here on the return by Heritage Christian. Now all the way to the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, still in his feet, 35 and down all the way to about the 20-yard line. What a return for Palaconda there for Heritage Christian.
How can you come into this second half and ignite some energy for your team? No better way to do that than on special teams. That is why special teams is so important, and it drives coaches crazy when teams don't execute in the special teams realm. This is why, because they shift the spectrum from having a team backed up to now they're on the plus side and in scoring position just off of one play. Great play there by Palaconda. You have to believe, although it looks like it's coming back.
I saw the block in the back
man.
Right down here at the bottom of the screen, right in front of the return at about the 45-yard line.
But that proves the point. It drives coaches crazy in special teams, really just all of the game. But in special teams, it's just one guy, one block in the back, one tug of the jersey that gets a play like that called back. And then it's just a huge momentum shift from, we're about to go score to now we got to go the length of the field.
Saturday morning film session. That guy probably doesn't want to be in that film session, does he, in special teams?
You just say, yes, coach, I know I made a mistake before the play even gets queued up on the field.
And they've already pointed you out already. So, all right, so after the nice return by Palaconda, we're going to take the football all the way back to the 35-yard line. Trips to the left here for the Eagles, and now they'll put a man in motion from left to right and run the football. Here's Pimental on the carry, 45-50, nice gain, 40. He's going to score on this one. The 20-10-5 touchdown. What a way to come back after that penalty on the kickoff return.
His teammate's loss was his treasure.
Yes.
His teammate Palaconda went for the long kickoff return. Pimental said, I have one better for you. I'll just take the jet sweep across the formation, the distance for a touchdown there. I think they've gotten themselves some momentum back after losing it there for a split second.
65 yards in the score by Pimental. And what we just talked about a little bit ago is exactly it. I mean, if you're Heritage Christian, you scored at the end of the first half. You score now to begin the second half of play.
Last week, those three running backs, Pimental, Rook, and Johnson, all found a heavy dosage of the run-carry load. Today, we've only seen Johnson and Pimental. I think they've been doing a great job.
13-0 here in the third.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Today's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Locations in Indianapolis, Zionsville, Anderson, Columbus, Lafayette. If you'd like more information, give them a call at 317-472-7600. Pimental, 65 yards. He now has 78 yards on 6 carries. He only had 13 yards through 5, so kind of helps his average out a little bit.
Yes, it does. Just take one the distance. Help the yards per carry average.
So Shenandoah will get it back, and there will be a return from around the 2-yard line. Nice carry out around the 20 to the 25. Good special teams play, and let's take another look at that score.
Just off the left side, great lead block there by Isaac Jones for Heritage Christian. Gets him kicked out and says, Pimental, you just take it from here. And that's exactly what he did. No one within 10 yards of him as he takes it all the way to pay dirt.
I noticed there was nobody close to blocking in the back that time, huh?
Yeah, I think they learned the lesson from the play before.
If I would have done that, I don't want to go to the sidelines for sure.
Just stay on the field. Say, hey, coach, just send out the rest of the guys. I'll be ready.
That's right. I'm ready to go. 1st and 10 at the 25 now for the Raiders. Their biggest deficit now at 13. Can they get the offense going, run up the middle? And that'll be Fries once again to about the 31, maybe 32-yard line.
Now, you would think human nature sets in and there will be a tendency to look up at the scoreboard if you're Shenandoah, say, man, we're down 13 points. We were just down 6, got a big play called back, so we're still in it. Then they go to the next play and go all the way for 65 yards. Just stick to the game plan. It's not time to hit the panic button just yet. Stick to the game plan, see where it gets you, but you just have to stay consistent, stay ahead of the chains, and continue to play this game out as it may be.
Fries, 12 carries, 91 yards. It'll be 2nd down at about 4. Right side, big hole, and all the way to the 41. There's Fries once again. Another nice carry.
The game plan to get it to Fries, I'd be willing to go out on a branch and say it's working.
Yeah, I do
He's got
too.
He's got a heavy dosage of the carries on tonight. Doing a great job, this offensive line, carving up some holes, getting the job done. But as I said at halftime, turning these drives into points. This would be a great time for them to execute that and get some points on the board.
So put the football again at the 41. You mentioned that offensive line, Adkins, Jackson, Lewis, Zachary, and Barr. And we have hankies coming out from 3 different officials. And it's going to be against Shenandoah. See, those are the things that can just kill your momentum.
You make a good play, 2 good plays in a row, and then it feels like you're going backwards.
Yeah.
As you said in the first half, it's like they're running in mud. It's like when you're running in mud, it feels like you're going really fast because the arms are pumping, as I said, but you're really not going anywhere. You don't gain any ground. And that's all that the penalties do. They just take you backwards and feel like you're moving forward, but you're really not.
Pitch to Fries over the right side. The 5-yard penalty marked him back to the 36-yard line. Nice run by Fries, and I'll tell you what, nice 2nd and 3rd effort right there to get an extra yard or 2.
Every time they've got into a long downage situation, 2nd, 3rd down, they have found a way to get that yardage back. So it may be a bad scenario to have the penalty, but they've seen some success here tonight in getting that yardage back and some.
Fries leaving the ball game. We see him heading to the sidelines. I'm not sure if he was a little shaken up right there, and looks like the trainer's going to at least talk to him. So they lose your leading running back with 112 yards on 14 carries. That would be a huge loss.
Hate to see anybody get hurt at any stage, especially your best player for Shenandoah.
Raiders better hurry up. The play clock starting to run out. They had to really get to the line of scrimmage quickly, and it carried to near the 50-yard line. That's going to be 41 again, Parsley.
Great to see Tomlinson back out there for this Shenandoah offense. We saw him go down in the first half. He's back out there, number 16 in white. Great play there by number 41, Parsley. Once again, there's just so many different aspects to this run game. And even though Fries went down for a little bit, you hope to see him get back in the game. There are some willing and capable guys to also get the job done in this run attack.
Yeah, 6 different players have carried the football tonight for Shenandoah. Here's Parsley again, and he's going to be brought down this time for a loss.
I was ready to say Parsley got outside and maybe got the first down, but there's the human eraser, Colin Jones, right off that left side of that defense, making another timely play for this Heritage Christian Eagle team.
5'11", 220. And he plays about as good as you're going to play right there for sure.
When you look at this team from last year, Kyle Antoine signed to Indiana Wesleyan. Running back C.J. Opper goes to Mount St. Joseph University. Wide receivers Luke Valerio and Sam Graves, Mount St. Joseph, Hanover College. I mean, this Heritage Christian team has put out some guys to get to the next level and play some college football, which is what you love to see for anybody in this stage. But they're out here competing as you see them on that run play there by Shenandoah.
No, Fries did not get the first down. He only gets to the 50-yard line. The ball just across the 50, and another nice play by that Heritage Christian defense.
Any red flags for the head coaches to throw the challenge flag?
I bet they wish there were.
Get a second look at that.
Well, I tell you what, I thought he got stopped right at the 52, at least from where he went down. So I think that's a pretty good call right there, but that's a great stop for the Eagles. So now the offense back out. They've scored 13 unanswered points. The big run moments ago by Pimental, and now chance to add more to it right here from the 50. That'll be a man in motion from right to left, handoff to Johnson. Johnson bouncing to the outside. A flag is down, probably holding from where I saw that flag.
It really just, every time you see a flag from a certain part of the field, you can almost guarantee it's going to be a hold, which I think you're correct, right there on the left side on that run play.
All right, tell me the truth. Don't you guys hold all the time, really? I mean, we could call it every play that's a holding.
Well, let's be honest. Holding is legal until it is called.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good way to explain it. I'm going to remember that. So, in other words, you kind of do hold, and, you know.
Legally, yes.
Yeah. And you're going to stick to that story
yes,
no matter what, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Coming from an offensive lineman for sure.
The toughest part for any blocker in any offensive scheme, offensive line, out to the perimeter, you don't know where the ball is going to go after it gets through the line of scrimmage. So that's why the most important part is to keep your feet churning. And at some points, you just have to let the defender go.
Yeah.
That's a lot better just to let him go than to get the holding call and bring back a huge play just because you got a little greedy with your hands.
Yeah, you do have a tendency to reach out, don't you?
Yes, you do, but that's why you always got to move your feet. Anytime your hands, as I go into my offensive line kind of coaching here, but every time your hands go somewhere, you have to bring your feet with you. Because anytime the ref sees that the hands are outside the framework of the body, that means your feet went dead. They have to call it.
Very, very true. All right, after the penalty, here's Nix on the rollout, throw to the sideline. Ball will be caught at the 45, dropped it around the 47. Will depend certainly in the spot of the football. That'll be Palaconda once again on the reception.
Great pursuit there by Evan Fries. We see he's back in the game at defensive back for the Shenandoah team, wrapping up Palaconda there on that first down play. This defense has to take a stand here. They got the Heritage Christian offense backed up. It's 2nd and 13. Got to get off the field. Get some momentum back on your side of the ball offensively.
Going to put that football at the 46-yard line. That was a gain of 6 on that last pass play. Second reception by Palaconda. Nix to throw, goes down the middle of the field, has a man, and it's going to be caught. What a great play by Andrew Sloan.
There he is. Andrew Sloan. It's almost like we're a distant relative. We train at the same place, so it just makes sense. Man, what a great grab, stretching out to haul it in. It looks like he double clutched it a little bit. From here, it looks like he got both hands underneath. You know, as Shenandoah, you'd obviously say it's incomplete, which I think they have ruled that it is. Nonetheless, great effort there by Sloan.
Oh.
Great ball there by Nix as well.
Man, that's tough. I thought he had the catch.
We go back to the first half. There were a couple balls over the, lofted over across the middle, going to Heritage Christian receivers that they weren't able to connect. That one was a lot closer than the one in the first half, so I know they will come back to that as they saw an opening there.
Well, that must have just come out right at the very end of that reception. We've got a timeout. Take another look at it right here. Yeah, you can see the ball kind of bobbled right there, and so that negates a heck of a catch. And we've got a timeout, 13-0, Heritage Christian.
Anna, let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
By the way, one of our other games on the network, Covenant Christian now leading Greenwood Christian 42-16. Again, we'll try to get you updated on some of the other games. We might be done before many of the other ones are going to be over with because of the late start time of many of the games around the state of Indiana tonight.
We got a chance to speak with Greenwood Christian's coach before the season. Man, I just love for them to stay in the fight. I know it's been some shucking and jiving going on with them, figuring out where they're going to play, and I know they have a tough schedule to start out the season, but, just stay in the fight.
Nix, little swing pass here on the screen on the near side. That'll be caught by Johnson and driven out of bounds very close to midfield. It's going to be 4th down. Do we have another flag? We do. A holding penalty again on the Eagles.
How many penalties is that for today?
I gave up.
Yeah, it's probably over 10 at this point. We could probably just make up a number at this point and just go with it.
Yeah. They're going to decline it, so we'll be 4th down. See where they spot the football officially at the 49.
At this part of the field, declining the penalty, I would agree with it. It becomes a field position thing. Don't want to give the chance of that Heritage Christian offense to go back 5 yards and then go past this point of where they're punting the ball from. Great decision there by Coach Stillwell.
So Johnson will officially get credit for a reception on that one. So the punt here by Heritage Christian, it will take a nice roll inside the 20, be down to near the 16-yard line. I want to remind you tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, we do it all. 3 services, 1 solution. Give them a call at 317-396-1023.
We talked about it off the air before we got started. I'm praying and hoping that your air conditioning is a lot better tonight than it was last night.
Oh, my. You don't want to know.
If I had a fan to give to you, I would, so you could just take it home and just ride home with it.
Yeah, I was going to say blow hot air on me, right? Oh, I was mentioning I'm a lot older than you are. In fact, my underwear is older than you. We didn't have air conditioning when I was a kid, and it was brutal. So it had some bad memories. Handoff up the middle. Nice hold for Fries, and he's going to get knocked down from behind, but not until he gets to about the 32-yard line.
Great run play there by Fries. Now we've seen the last couple of drives. They're on the cusp of breaking a big one. That was probably one of them, leading towards some more positive plays. Man, this Shenandoah team is hanging tough right now.
So it'll be a 1st down for Shenandoah. Well, they got to get some points, though. I mean, I know, as you said earlier, it's too early to really panic at this stage, but they don't have a high-powered offense when you think about throwing the football, as that gain out to the 38-yard line.
Running the ball is conducive for clock management, but not if you're playing from behind. So now you have a team that characteristically isn't a passing through the air type of team. They're just going to pound the ball on the ground, pound the ball on the ground. So at some point in time, they will be presented with, hey, what do we do? Do we air the ball out, or do we just stick to what we do? And only time will tell that.
So it'll be 2nd down and 2 after the gain of about 7 on the last play. Handoff again up the middle, and it should be good enough for a 1st down. That time it'll be Parsley on the carry, his 6th carry of the night. So he gains about 7 on that carry.
And that's good enough for a Shenandoah 1st down.
I'll see some big guys fighting there in the trenches right there in the A-gaps. As everyone knows by now, I do play offensive line, so whenever I can shout out the offensive line and the defensive line respectfully, I will do so. Not because I play offensive line, but I just understand that the game is won in the trenches.
Yeah.
And if you have some good guys up front, you will be in a better position because of it.
Around the right side on
there
the
we
carry,
go.
Inside the 50, down to the 40, and finally brought down. Great gain. That's going to be Tomlinson on the carry.
As he was running, I'm like, man, those are some long strides, but it makes sense. 6'3", 195. When that horse gets rolling, it's hard to bring him down.
It is. Well, he's coming out of the ball game, and looks like we may have a timeout on the field, and I think they may say it's going to be a timeout by Heritage. 5:09 remaining here in the 3rd. Heritage on top, 13-0.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Football will be placed at the 33-yard line. By the way, that last run by Tomlinson, 24 yards. He now has 47 yards on 4 carries. Shenandoah having to hurry to the line of scrimmage again. Handoff and no gain on that play.
I feel as if Colin Jones has flexed on us a handful of times tonight every time he's made a play. But I think he's just letting us know I am living in this Shenandoah backfield. And every time I make a play, I'm going to let everyone know. Great play there by big number 56, who I know is tired, playing both sides of the ball, offensive line, defensive line. But as soon as that ball is snapped, he finds his way near that ball.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 12. And on the carry and the big loss, all the way back to about the 43-yard line. How about that play by Brady Heiler?
Brady Heiler got the turnover train earlier in the game with the fumble recovery, making a play in the backfield there. The negative plays are equivalent to penalties. They're just drive killers, momentum killers. Got to stay ahead of the chains for the Shenandoah offense.
So now you're looking at 3rd and 19. Well, actually, it's closer to 3rd and 14.
This may be 4th down territory. Get a positive gain here.
Oh, my. That was blown up immediately. Take your pick between Jones and Heiler.
Lost in the shuffle of that play by Heiler there. But had that ball got handed off, that play might have went for a big one. At this point, it's all semantics. Hope that player for Shenandoah is okay.
That looks like it might be Parsley, who is shaken up at the 44-yard line. Take another look at it right here. I think they're going to have to give him the carry, but you know who else got hit pretty hard? That was Loy. He went down hard, too. And take a look, by the way, this is coming up next week. Covenant Christian and Cecina, one of our games on Friday night. We'll have Guerin and this Heritage team also on Friday. These kickoff times will be at 7 o'clock. And then, of course, down in Evansville, great matchup here. The Bears of Evansville Central and Evansville Memorial. And how about this one? Ron Colley and Bishop Chittard. That'll be a good one.
That sure will be.
Of course, college football gets underway for us next week. Manchester and North Park on Saturday, part of our Heartland coverage. on HCAC.tv. Franklin will be hosting Olivet. And one more game rolls, Holman and DePaul. That'll be a great matchup there as well. Be a fun weekend of football here on IndianaSRN.
Both of these coaches, Coach Ray for Heritage Christian, Coach Stillwell for Shenandoah, Heartland Conference products.
Yeah.
Coach Stillwell, a defensive lineman in his own right. Coach Ray, great quarterback down there at Franklin College.
That'll be a touchback as Johnson fielded it at the 1, but stepped back across the goal line. So Heritage will take the football at 3:35 remaining. You know, they gave me the good trip. I don't have to go to Franklin. So
very nice.
Yes. They know I have to be in bed early on a Saturday night.
Because
so.
we're already past the bedtime.
Oh, we're way past.
I mean, we're getting into overtime at this point.
Yes, because it's only 2 hours from Saturday morning.
There you go. I see those Evansville games, and I'm like, man, driving to Evansville seems like it just never ends. It just keeps going.
No easy way to get unless they complete that interstate here pretty soon.
Exactly.
Yeah, 3 hours is a long time to be in the car with anybody. But some of the guys from SRN, you don't want to be in there for 3 hours.
Well, good thing we're here.
Yes.
I think we're the life of the party.
First down at the 20. Yeah, Keith Myers especially. We don't want to be in the car with him very long. Hey, nice carry by Pimental all the way out to the 34-yard line.
Heavy doses to Johnson in the first half. Pimental getting his fair share of carries here in this second half. Great job and great balance by this offensive backfield for this Heritage Christian offense.
He has 79 yards in his last 2 carries. That's not a bad average.
It's not a bad average.
Pimental with the touchdown to give Heritage the 13-0 lead. Andrew Sloan, who's made a name for himself at the bottom of your screen, single coverage there. Handoff, cut back, 40, and out to the 45-yard line. Nice run by Pimental again.
Very noticeable for both sidelines as the camera continues to pan in and out. Man, there are a lot more players on Heritage Christian sidelines than Shenandoah's. And you just have to believe that, as I said in the first half, this game is going to continue to progress. And being tired, getting fatigued is going to be a factor in this game. And I think it's starting to become a factor because holes are getting a lot bigger. You know, Heritage Christian is starting to oppose its will. So, man, hopefully there can be a jolt of energy for the Shenandoah team to, you know, finish this game strong.
2 receivers, including Palanconda to the near side, handoff left side into Shenandoah territory, down to about the 44. That'll be a gain of 11 yards as Pimental now kind of doing it all himself.
Whatever he wants. I don't even think he got touched until about the 10-yard mark.
Yeah. Down to the 44-yard line. He has had now in his last 4 carries 65, 14, 11, and 11. You can win a lot of football games carrying the ball like that.
Yes, you can.
And by the way, Pimental stays in the ball game as the Eagles trying to perhaps seal it with a nice drive right here. Pimental again breaking tackles, puts his head down, gets inside the 40. They'll mark him down at about the 39-yard line.
It's a mentality to just continue to run the ball. At this point in the game, 1:55 to go in the third quarter. Heritage Christian very much so in control of this game. Can they continue to impose their will, churn yard after yard in the run game? Because, I mean, let's be honest, no need to pass the ball right now. You're in control. You're gaining huge yards, as you just said, from Pimental. So why not? Just keep going.
Looks like we might have another timeout. They put the football again at the 39. I noticed one of our other SRN crews is done already. They must be union guys because they're already leaving. You know, just don't. Mount Vernon 41, Franklin 38.
That was a great game in the beginning.
Wow.
Mount Vernon took the opening kickoff for 85 yards.
Wow.
Franklin came back and scored a touchdown on their next drive. So I think that was in the making for it to be a shootout because that's exactly what was the indicator from that score you just told us about.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Well, I tell you what, you really have to think about a hot night like tonight, and then you're playing a game like this, and then you probably love that shower after a while.
Oh, man, you might want to jump into the cold shower first to just cool off.
2nd down and 5. Johnson trying to get the edge. We've got some activity right there around the head area, but I don't see any flags down. That's a great defensive play. Johnson's going to go back to about the 43-yard line. That's a great play there. That's Reddick on the stop. It looks like he might have a little bit of a
cramp in there.
Surprised we haven't seen more of that.
Man, the exertion that is output in this game, playing both sides of the ball for both of these teams. Fatigue is something that you can't avoid. It's going to happen. You just hope that when it does happen, it doesn't affect you too much, or the game is already over, because nothing worse than catching the cramp after the game, but at least the game's over.
Yeah, exactly. It still hurts, though,
exactly.
Right? 2 receivers split wide to the left, hash mark right, play action pass here for Nix. Sidearms that one and knocked down, but I tell you what, almost picked off right there. Looks like Levi Jackson.
Great play by Levi, almost with the Odell Beckham-like one-handed interception. That would have been a turnaround.
Yeah, big time. Well, it's going to be 4th down and 9. Football stays at the 43-yard line.
It's in moments like this, I think, to my high school coach, who I love dearly, Coach Strife, hope you're doing well. But every football game is determined by 4 or 5 plays.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is you don't know what those 4 or 5 plays are going to be until the game is already over. You just hope that you end up on the right side of those 4 or 5 plays, and, that's one of them. Had he been able to haul that in, who knows what that could have done for the complexity of the game. But you just keep playing.
Eagles are going to call a timeout. 13-0 Heritage Christian.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
So after the timeout, Heritage will punt the football away. And that's going to roll into the end zone for a touchback. So Shenandoah, with only 41 seconds remaining here in the third, will get the football back. By the way, Perry Meridian did beat Southport tonight 20-10. We gave you that Mount Vernon and Franklin score 41-38 on that one. Northeastern beating Tri tonight 28-21, so the Knights go to 2-0 on the season. Maryville now leading Hobart 31-6 in the fourth quarter. See if we can get some other scores for you. North Decatur Eastern Hancock tied at 14. Lewis Cass beating Northfield 34-0 tonight. How about this one? Lakeland beat Churubusco 61-39. You wouldn't get home till late.
61 points.
Oh, man. By the way, Westfield will give you that score with them and Lawrence Central. The outside Fries 30, 35, and hogtied out of bounds, but not until he gets to the 40-yard line. Gain of 20 on that run.
And going into that play, as we came back from break, Heritage Christian has already used all of their timeouts. So in a sense, Shenandoah can kind of play with house money a little bit, knowing that the clock and having all of their timeouts is almost a weapon at this point in the game.
By the way, Lawrence Central beating Westfield in the fourth, 43-37. Another shootout tonight.
A lot of points being scored there.
Man. So after that 20-yard run, unofficially 152 yards now for Fries. First and 10 at the 40. He's going to get the call again, get about 3 yards on that carry. 20 carries now.
I think he's well on his way to at least, I would say, about 28 carries.
And the good news is there aren't hardly any other players carrying the football now, so I can just go down to the next line. So you got to learn how to plan that stuff when you're doing this. So.
You're doing a great job over there. I mean, just keeping
Bless
all
your
of the
heart.
stats.
By the way, New Pal leading Decatur Central 42-33 in the fourth. Brownsburg is leading Cathedral 45-31 in the fourth. We'll take a timeout. Fourth quarter coming up. Heritage on top 13-0.
To you. Standing with us. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our neighbors in need.
Well, we're down to our final quarter here tonight. And right now, Heritage leads it 13-0. But Shenandoah with the football now at the 44-yard line. Here is a carry around the left side. That's going to be Parsley. And he's drugged down. It's going to be third down.
Now let's trade places here for a second as we start this fourth quarter. Partner,
Yes.
What do you think this Shenandoah team needs to do as they go into this last quarter of game action?
Well, I think you better score quickly because I have a feeling if Heritage gets it back, they're going to run the football and run a lot of time off the clock.
That's great analysis if I've ever heard.
Well,
so.
we try on our
there
side.
You go.
You know, that's why we leave that the good stuff to you, man. That's why I got out of coaching, too. Football at the 48-yard line and a little bit anxious up front. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is help them out here, right?
And spot them 5 yards.
Exactly.
By 11 minutes and 17 seconds to go. Man, I think the Shenandoah offense has to throw some type of semblance of a pass to just show the effort to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you keep running the ball, yeah, that's what you do, but at some point it becomes about winning the game. So, I know it's not so much in character for them to do so, but I think it will be necessary, as this quarter, winds down by the second.
By the way, we'll get you an update on that Westfield game. To throw here is Loy, and he's going to go down back at the 50-yard line. Guess who? There he is again.
Mr. Flex himself. Just the straight arms. I mean, look at these black uniforms. Have the black tape on the back of the arms. That's for the turf, so when you slide and make a play, you don't, get any turf burns or anything like that. But some good-looking uniforms by this Heritage Christian team. And it always is better when you make plays, too, because what did Deion say? When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. I think we're seeing that here tonight.
No kidding. By the way, Westfield tied that game. Sean Krull informed me they tied it at 51 going into overtime.
Things can happen quickly.
Wow. Run around the left side. Nothing again. And that defense coming up big. Isaac Jones, one of the inside linebackers.
I think what we've seen so far today in this game, but also in some of these other games that we've been keeping up to date with the scores, man, there's a lot of teams that are playing some great defense. There are a lot of teams that are scoring some points, particularly when I look in 6A, man, there are going to be some matchups as the season goes on that we might want to circle right now because they are going to line up to be some great competition out there on these Friday nights.
We're going to have that Lawrence Central game here in a couple of weeks too, so,
beautiful time of the year.
It is. It is going to be fun. Third down and 15. I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about this here in a moment. Another run play for Fries. He might get a yard out of it. If I'm Heritage Christian, I don't have to play the pass, right? I mean, everybody's in the box right here.
We're playing tendencies at this point, which for defense, you have to play tendencies because that's how you create a game plan. You say, hey, guys, when we see this type of formation, you should expect this. It's only when the offense gets creative and gives you a little bit something different from a quote-unquote tendency from the pass. And so at this point, Shenandoah is basically saying, hey, we're not going to pass the ball, we're just going to run. So if I were Heritage Christian, I would continue to be in attack mode, penetrating the line of scrimmage, and, keep making these tackles for losses so we can see Colin Jones flex his muscles and show how strong and powerful he is to be a destructor.
Yeah, he's done plenty of that. This kick, I think, goes out of bounds off to the far side. See where they're going to mark this kick. It's going to be a short kick. The other thing about it now, let's talk offense, because you're Heritage Christian. Pimental's run the ball well. Bottom line is you can run it, 6-7 minutes off the clock perhaps right here if you can get that running game going.
There's a thing that's called 4-minute offense. And that's really just a game plan within the game plan that doesn't have to really be scripted specific to a team that you go to when the game is in your control and you just want to eat up the clock. At this point, you have no timeouts. So if you can get Shenandoah to use their timeouts with running the ball, constantly getting first downs, that 4-minute offense is really conducive to ending the game, not just for those last 4 minutes of the game. Because, you leave it to all the analytical guys out there. It's that point in the 4 minutes that if, the other team has all of their timeouts and then you just do run plays like this and score touchdowns, you just waste time off the clock and
wow.
Just like that. It happens fast.
Pimental, another touchdown, this time 70 yards to go along with a 65-yard score earlier in the ballgame.
I think he's allergic to gains like under 10 yards.
Yeah.
Everything has to go past 10 yards. We've seen a couple go for 60-plus. Great speed.
Wow.
In the open field. He makes one guy miss, two guys miss, whatever it is. If he sees any type of open field, cancel Christmas. That's a touchdown.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, Santa Claus, forget it. Yeah, boy, we're going to get you his numbers here in a minute. They're going to be incredible. See, the extra point, that pretty much, I think, might put a dagger in this one here tonight. The extra point attempt is going to be blocked. Second time that Heritage has been unable to convert the extra point. But 8:33 to go here in the fourth. Heritage on top, 19-0.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Well, Shenandoah will get the football. We'll get to the numbers here in a moment on Pimental because his numbers have now gone way up on just really 2 carries tonight, but he's been very consistent in the second half. So Raiders get it back, hard hit at the 25-yard line. Let's take another look at the run.
Breaks contain. Isaac Jones there got away with the block in the back, but hey, no one saw it. Just don't speak too loud. Makes a couple guys miss, and then the rest of the Shenandoah defense just ran out of gas as Pimental accelerated.
By the way, real quick, if I may, Pimental, as you see an earlier score by the Eagles, that was Pimental right there. 189 yards on 11 carries.
Now, I think it's impressive when teams run the ball 30, 40, 50 times and get 300-400 yards. But to have a player have 11 carries and 2 of his carries go 65 and 70 yards and then to total 189 yards, that tells me a couple of things. That means there are some huge run lanes out there, and he has home run hitting ability to take it the distance, which I think there are a lot of running backs in the state of Indiana. We got a chance to see HSC with Chittard in the scrimmage a couple weeks back. I mean, HSC has some running backs that can take it the distance. Bishop Chatard runs the ball very well. They have some guys that can get it done. I mean, what we just see going on in the National Football League with the state of the running back from a financial standpoint, man, there are a lot of talented running backs out here.
So now first carry near side is Shenandoah trying to get something going on offense. And on the carry is Fries once again. He's carried the ball now 22 times. And he's been a workhorse here tonight.
It's a lot of toughness on this Shenandoah team. You can just see the fatigue has already set in. Guys have their hands on their hips. You know, it's a lot harder to get up from the piles at, you know, the end of a tackle when a bunch of guys meet you at the party. But I give them a lot of credit just for coming out here battling. You know, this is a program that's trending in the right direction. And I think Coach Stillwell has them going, you know, in a linear direction that I think will, you know, fare well as this program continues to grow and develop.
Gain of just a couple on that run play. Looked like that might have been Parsley once again. It is still, by the way, 81 degrees. That's going to be Fries instead. At 10:30, 81 degrees.
Now, I'm going to just add this in here because we know how Indiana weather is. It's 81 right now, but here in a few weeks, it'll probably be negative 30.
Oh, you just had to bring that up, didn't you? That'll get you banned from the broadcast, what that'll do.
All right. Too bad for you. I think we have another game here in a few weeks.
Yeah, and if it is cold like that,
I'll take responsibility
for
that.
I may walk right out of that broadcast. First down here for the Raiders, and a fumble, and it's going to be HC football. Well, I'll tell you what, it might be a lot of sweat going on out there, and that ball could have been a little bit wet, but nonetheless, big turnover here for Shenandoah.
Tyler Marsh, number 53, the linebacker for Heritage Christian there on the fumble recovery. That is a guy, we haven't said his name much on tonight, but he, along with Colin Jones last year, were two of the top tacklers on this team. Marsh seeing 78 total tackles and 9 TFLs. Now he too gets an invitation to the turnover chain party, but not for long as he runs back out there on offense.
It appears right now Heritage is going to win this game. They'll pick up their second win of the season, so off to a good start. Shenandoah, after opening up with a win, will have to go back to the drawing board, get ready for their next game. We'll see if we can get you some more updates as we have a timeout on the field. I believe they've tried to, if it's not an official timeout, they do have a water break going here, and certainly deservedly so with as hot as it is. But let's give you that schedule again next week. As you see, it's a pretty good lineup here. Guerin and Heritage. Guerin ranked number 2, I believe, in the latest poll. You have Covenant Christian, who picked up a win tonight on the road at Cecina. That's not going to be easy. We'll have Evansville Central, Evansville Memorial. That's a great clash between those two teams. And then, of course, this one I'm looking forward to, Chatard and Ron College.
That will be a good one.
That will be a sellout big time.
Yes, it will. Hard-nosed football right there.
Then on Saturday, we begin our college football coverage in the Heartland on HCAC TV. North Park will be at Manchester. Also, Olivet is at Franklin. And then our final game, this will be a good one, DePaul and Rose-Hulman. That's a 7 o'clock start time on that one. They're just not that far from each other.
No,
so
they are not.
Great rivalry there.
Here on SRN, I have a couple Rose-Hulman games this season. Excited to get out to Terre Haute.
They need to bring you down to Franklin with me to make Keith go to Terre Haute.
What was the meeting that we had before this season got kicked off? Who's not in charge of the scheduling? You know, all that shifting off of responsibility. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I'll take some more games with my man Troy.
you throw him under that bus as much as you want. Football at the 33-yard line. You know, the good news is he might still be on the air, so he really doesn't hear any of this right now. He might hear it at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Or he might be still calling the game, got the earpiece in, listening to us, just in case we say anything about him.
Well, he can get some pointers, too, about the game of football. Here's the carry again. Boy, what a run this time by Johnson just to get loose as he continues to break tackles. He ran about 30 yards, and he's going to end up maybe losing a couple on this one.
I just want to highlight the effort there by number 14 for Shenandoah, Jared Hellman. as the ball when we watch the Indianapolis Colts, Shaquille Leonard, that is the star linebacker for the team, has coined the ability to go and punch the ball out, create turnovers, which in this game of football, the more turnovers that you create, the better chance your offense gets because you get more possessions. Jared on that play right there, his teammate had him rolled up. I saw him going in right there for the punch. At this point in the game, but really any point in the game, that is great football.
Yeah.
Because if you can get the ball out and give your offense some momentum to get back on the field, man, heads up play there by Hellman.
By the way, Pimentel is out of the ball game, and he deserves the rest with 189 yards. And
that ball might be loose.
Nick's trying to throw the football. Let's see if they will call it an incomplete pass or will it be a fumble.
Great gamesmanship by Nick's. Signaling the throwing motion. I would have too, because it looked like a fumble to me.
Yeah, all the way back to the 47-yard line. So now it's going to be 3rd down and 17. He has a different type of motion, does he not? It's actually 4th down, where he kind of brings it that little sidearm, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, which would make sense because each time he's rolled to the left, it's just been fluid, nice, and on schedule. Nice player there with Nix. Only a sophomore, too.
Yeah, and aren't you surprised, though, he rolls a lot against his body, though?
It's a lot tougher
to
go against the grain than to go to your natural throwing motion.
That will land inside the 20. And we'll be down at about the 13-yard line. So looks like the Raiders are down to their last possession right here. If we get an update on that Hamilton Southeastern game that went into overtime, we'll try to pass that along. Ron Colley losing to Franklin Central tonight, 20-6. Center Grove beat Oakland 28-10. Let's see, we asked for it, we get it. And Westfield goes for 2. They get the win.
Oh, man.
How about that one in overtime? That's incredible. What a game.
A game that Lawrence Central had in their grasp. I mean, in the 4th quarter, they were winning.
Yeah.
What was it, 43-37?
Yeah. But guess what? That's why you've got to play the whole game, right?
All the way to the end.
Rolling will be Loy. The completion, 20-25.
Well, look at there.
Yeah, look at that.
A pleasant surprise.
That caught me off guard.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, where's the running back?
That completion to Tomlinson, that's just the 2nd pass play tonight by Shenandoah.
But it's there. It's not that they can't pass the ball. It's just that they won't pass the ball. But when they do, they found success. And it's just, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Everybody wants to go for the home run hitter and find the receiver way down the field. Just get it to your playmakers and let them turn up the field and go make a play.
So that'll be a 1st down in football at about the 27-yard line. Back to the run, and that's going to be a gain of about 4 or 5. By the way, West Lafayette leading McCutcheon 24-17. All right, this can't be right. This has Lafayette Central Catholic, Guerin Catholic, 78-73 in the 1st quarter. Somebody's playing games with us now.
Were they playing basketball?
Yeah, I was going to say. In the 1st quarter. And then you get some smart aleck out there posting the wrong score. Carroll now leading Warren Central in the 4th, 18-14.
Ooh.
We've got a timeout here by Shenandoah. Zionsville leading Lebanon 31-3. And we'll take a timeout, give you some more updates in a moment. 19-0 Heritage.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
$19-0, Heritage Christian with the lead. 4:05 remaining, as you see here in the 4th. It'll be 2nd down. as the Raiders continue to run the football. Looks like we have a couple of new players in the ball game as well. Looked like that might have been, though, Parsley on the carry. Noblesville beat. Of course, I asked for the score and it jumped on me.
Blame it on technology.
I know. Let me get down here again. Like I said, Noblesville beat Homestead 42-0.
Man, shutout fashion.
Ben Davis beats Avon 42-14. Anybody else here? Mooresville now leading Danville 21-12 in the fourth. That made our producer happy. Handoff, left side, out to about the 40. Looked like it might have been Parsley again. East Central, by the way, beat Harrison 42-7. East Central #1 in 4A.
I have to say this just because I saw Gage Zachary once again toss someone out of the club all the way down 10 yards down the field. I mean, it's just hard not to notice when you just see a moving object out of the screen. Great offensive line play there, but great effort by this Shenandoah offensive line continuing to play this game, even though it looks like it's a little bit out of their reach at this point in the fourth quarter.
So they will run the football again over the left side. Looks like this will be Hellman.
14, Jared Hellman, the ball carrier.
Hellman down at about midfield. We want to remind everyone that check out IndianaSRN.org if you missed the schedule of games coming up next week. Only the 4 games on Friday night, 3 college games on Saturday. I believe we have, I don't know if it's volley. I think we have volleyball on Monday. You'll have to forgive me on that one, but I think it is volleyball Monday. Freeze on the carry right there, so he gets a yard on that one.
He's been battling tonight. Got a little bit banged up earlier in this game, but huge credit to Freeze there, just continuing to battle. I think it's just the toughness of this still well-coached team.
There's the Kings Academy Horizon Christian game we'll have on Monday night. We've been at Horizon earlier this year. We were supposed to have a soccer game played on Wednesday night, but it got, was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. That got postponed to a later date. Freeze on the carry once again. Will get about 3.
Is there a sport that you don't do?
Ice hockey. It's too cold in the gym or in the arena.
That's predicated on the temperature, not so much the expertise.
Yes. If it's cold, I don't go. So.
I hear you.
Of course, last year during football season, we did a playoff game, and it was like 500 below. I always wear shorts, and they were making fun of me that had shorts on that night. I was the only one in the whole stadium who had shorts on.
Producer says you were shivering.
Yeah, it was a little cold, only because there was a hole in the press box down below. It was blowing south of the border, and it was a little cold there.
I hear you.
But at least I knew I was in the press box, but our camera guy was on top, did not dress. Yeah, we almost lost the camera guy that night, man. So he didn't come dressed appropriately.
Exactly.
Well, Heritage will go to 2-0, Shenandoah to 1-1. Down to possibly the final play of the ball game right here. And no gain on this one. So really, if you want to think about our impact player of the game, it has to be what you saw earlier in Elijah Pimentel. 189 yards on 11 carries. Just those 2 carries were backbreakers there against Shenandoah.
That was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Going into the second half, it was 6-0 Heritage Christian advantage. And then quickly it was 13-0. And then we both felt like as they scored that last touchdown, that was the game right there. And it came off of 2 plays. Once again, those 4 or 5 plays, you just never know when they're going to be. They happen to be in the second half, put the game out of reach. Great game by both teams here. I think there's some good for Shenandoah as they head into the next part of their season. Heritage Christian can build on this. Playing to their standard is definitely going to be something that they're going to be challenged with as this season wanes. And so, great game here. A big shout out to everyone that made this happen tonight.
By the way, Freeze ended up with almost 200 yards rushing here tonight, so give him a lot of credit. I mean, he was the He was the workhorse, no doubt about it.
That's another day at the office for him.
Yeah.
So I fully expect him to continue to put out the same type of numbers as the season goes on. I want to go back to what I said earlier. In 2021, this team went 4-5. That is with Stillwell being named the head coach just a week before summer practice started, the first game getting canceled. In the next 3 games, they go 1-2. So they don't get off to a great start. Then last year, they start 1-3. So I think this team has done some great things, as we saw here tonight, and I think they're trending in the right direction. So, to the Shenandoah Raiders, keep your head up. There's some great football to be played by you guys as the season progresses, and I look forward to looking at them later down the season and see how they've done.
All right, Jared, good to see you again, sir. As always.
As always.
We'll kick Keith off and get you in here. That's your final score. I want to thank the entire crew. Great job here tonight, as always. As Heritage Christian goes to 2-0, they win it 19-0. Thanks for being with us. This has been High School Football on Indiana SRN.